Shador Sanders' story that really started Thursday, continued Friday, and bled deep into Saturday. It's incredible how big this story is, coast to coast. And I'm talking about, I dropped my daughter off to school, went and got a breakfast burrito, and I'm flipping around before sitting down.
How was that breakfast burrito?
It's fantastic. Okay. A place called Tata's where I live. Bacon, eggs, cheese, and potatoes.
I like it.
With some hot sauce on every bite. I'm flipping on ESPN, like the morning shows.
Yeah. First
Take, segment about Shador Sanders. I flipped to that show on FS1. It's called The Facility with it's like Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders. Like their long segment. Like they're like 16, 17 minute segment. Shador Sanders.
What did Deion say? They're trendsetters. All right, that's what Deion says they are. They're trendsetters.
Shador certainly set a trend this weekend
did.
in terms of the largest slide in the history of the NFL draft.
Look at you.
But I have a question, man, and I'm being serious. Now, what's done is done, so it's not relevant to the here and now. But I think the question is worth asking, considering this huge national story to us is also a local story.
Yes, we're close to this.
Yes.
We're talking about Shador Sanders, who just had his jersey retired. That took this team to a playoff or it should have been a playoff.
You played NCAA football? The Xbox or PS?
It took the team to a bowl game.
Yes.
A bowl game. Had 9 wins. And we're still talking about this man because he slid to the 5th round. He was supposed to be a top 5 draft pick, supposedly.
Yeah, right. And I'll say this, too, about the jersey retirement before I ask you this question.
Don't get me started on that, man.
And I know my question's going to annoy people, but I don't care. I'm
Should they take
anyway.
it down?
Oh, no. No, it's that first of all, almost like the jersey retirement was almost like universally shunned. Like
it was frowned upon by a bunch of people, not even alumni and people that were close to Colorado, just coast to coast.
Coast to coast. I didn't run into a lot of people, and they were out there, right? Merritt, right? Everyone's zigging, James time to zag. Like, I got it.
James likes to be different.
But in general, it's like 9 out of 10 people, 8 out of 10 people didn't like it. But it's one thing, though, when you retire someone's jersey and you look up there and you say, hey, that guy revived our program, man. He went on to be the 3rd pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
It's another thing to say, hey, that guy revived our program. He had the largest draft day slide in draft history. He's a 5th rounder.
He's a 5th round draft pick. And honestly, Zach, if the Browns don't pick him up, maybe he doesn't even get drafted. Maybe he doesn't even get drafted because teams had opportunities throughout the time to draft Shador Sanders.
Correct.
And they did not.
Over and over again. And
you had the Browns, who already drafted a quarterback in the 3rd round, already has 3 other quarterbacks on the roster that decided to draft Shador Sanders. It's wild.
It's crazy. And it's it actually takes a controversial, this is my opinion, it takes a wildly controversial jersey retirement and has it like age even worse somehow. Now that can change if Shador gets an opportunity and he's a baller, and like that can change because you go win a Super Bowl, that jersey retirement, that's going to be a nice coat of paint,
more like
if you will.
I told you so.
It's a nice coat of paint on top of something that people generally didn't like. But here's my question for you. Say Shador slid another round, okay? Which is
6th round.
It's not hard to imagine.
No.
I mean, do you think it was a conversation within the Denver Broncos? Just a conversation of, hey, we need to talk about this because this kid who's got, hey, maybe we didn't have a 1st round grade at him, we have a 2nd round grade, but he plays the most important position in team sports, and there he is in the 5th round. I'm saying if he slipped to the 6th round where the Broncos drafted a punter, was that a conversation? Should it have been a conversation? Because here's what I'm thinking. Here's just the factors that leads me to this question. Does Sean Payton have a great relationship with Deion Sanders?
He does.
He does. Has he known Shador since he was in middle school?
All of his life. He went to high school games, middle school games, college games, all the games.
Did Sean Payton over the weekend literally warn the rest of the league and use the word beware because this kid can play?
He was confused. Sean was confused just like a lot of us.
Okay, so there's another factor. Does Sean have a history previously of taking flyers on one-time highly regarded quarterbacks whose stock has dipped.
Oh, yes. I mean, look, Zach Wilson's one of them right there, but even Jameis Winston.
Correct.
All right, my man was stealing crab legs and still took a flyer on him and said, hey, you're a good quarterback. Teddy Two Gloves. Like, it's just different quarterbacks that Sean has been around. Multiple different quarterbacks with different styles.
Correct. So he looks at Jameis in the 30 interception season and says, we'll try it here. We'll fix this. He looks at Zach Wilson, former 3rd overall pick, like, man, you are down on your luck.
QB rehab.
Come on. So this is why I think the question is at least worth asking, and I am curious if there was a discussion. Like I said at the top, what's done is done. Like, it's all good.
Yeah.
For the Broncos anyway. So you have a relationship with Deion and Shedeur. You have a warning to the rest of the NFL that Shedeur can play. You have a previous history of buying low on once well-thought-of quarterbacks like Jameis, like Zach Wilson. You want to throw Teddy Two Gloves in there, go for it. You put all that together, he becomes an extreme, if Sean believes what he says, he becomes like the biggest value pick in the NFL draft
Zach,
if he's sitting there in the 6th round.
Yes, in the 6th round, and Sean believes that he's a quarterback whisperer, a quarterback guru. All right, even with Tony Romo, who was undrafted, Sean was a part of that. And so if Sean thinks that he can get this quarterback, put him under his wing and develop him over time, why would Sean not do that? Not just for this young man, Shedeur, but maybe to help his dad out and say, hey, I got you. We're close. We're good friends. I'll help your son out. And then maybe, just maybe, he's not going to be the quarterback here. But maybe he develops for a couple years and we trade him off to someone that needs a quarterback, because this is a quarterback needy league. And if someone like Shador Sanders is humble enough to learn from Sean, to learn from the people in front of him and continue to develop when he gets his opportunity, because make no mistake about it, Shador is not a bad quarterback. It's just the noise around Shedeur that he needs to kind of get under control. And if he can do that and focus on football, he'll be just fine. So I like that you bring this up. And actually, I talked to somebody in the building, and I asked the same thing about
building?
The Denver Broncos building.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? Humor me. First, what's going on with Shedeur? And he replied saying, look, I don't know. Everybody has different evaluations on him, different reasonings to why Shedeur slid to the 5th round. So I asked him, I said, hey, like, would there be a possibility if he would have fell out of the 5th round and went to the 6th or 7th that you guys would have maybe possibly picked him up? And he responded by, that could have been an option if we didn't have 3 quarterbacks on the roster. So that's something, Zach, like it's not necessarily a crazy question, because it's Sean. And Sean is so confident in his ability when it comes to quarterbacks that he maybe have took that flyer on Shedeur and said, hey, come here. It's okay. People are talking about you. You're hurt right now. Trust me. Believe in me. We'll get this done, and somebody else will have you. We'll trade you off, and you'll be able to have a great career. That's Sean, and Sean takes care of his players.
Well, the Broncos do have a 3rd quarterback. It's Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah.
Okay. Backup quarterbacks, you don't plan on them playing. But I do wonder, well, I'll say this too. I don't know if Shedeur's going to make the football team.
He's a 5th round draft pick, and they can be cut at any given time.
But also just like think about the human beings and the dynamics at play. Joe Flacco's going to make the team. Okay, he just led the Browns to the playoffs 2 years ago. He's a veteran. He'll likely start the season and then transition to someone else.
I don't know about that, Zach, because you have Kenny Pickett too, that you spent a 3rd round draft pick on. I'm thinking that they like Joe, but Joe is 40 years old. Joe doesn't want to help develop young talent either. Whether it's Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders, Joe is in it for just himself. I'm going to be real with you.
Well, I'll just say this. Joe's the best quarterback that they have right now. Like, if they're trying to win week 1, you don't start Kenny Pickett or Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders.
But also, Kenny Pickett was under a quarterback rehab over there with the Philadelphia Eagles.
He was.
So maybe they're like, hey, we spent a 3rd round draft pick on you for a reason. We believe in you. You got to play in a couple games. We like what we see. And maybe it's a Joe and Kenny Pickett. They battle for the starting job.
Maybe so. But the dynamics are still the same in my opinion, because like I don't think Joe's going to get cut from the team. Like, Joe Flacco's going to make the team. That's what I think. If you think differently, you can think differently.
I think differently.
So you think Joe's going to get cut?
I think that it's a possibility of him getting cut.
Okay, so we disagree. So I think Joe's going to make the team. You just traded a 3rd round selection for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I think Kenny Pickett's going to make the team. Kenny Pickett also has experience and was in the NFL playoffs. I know it wasn't because of him, but
he's a 1st round draft pick at
first
one
round
point.
pick, and was in the playoffs for a 10-win Steelers team like 2 years ago. You just added Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
And he was in the Heisman race.
But then you have a 5th round pick. And this also could go back to who wanted Shedeur, because there's rumors now, because Jimmy Haslam has a relationship with Dion, that was the Jimmy Haslam pick. That if, hey, he's there in the 5th round, you're going to take him. Yeah. Did you see the room when they picked Shedeur?
Yeah, I know. It seemed like they were at a
funeral?
A funeral. Like, literally, they were clapping, but
it didn't seem
happy.
authentic. Yeah,
no, they weren't happy. They felt like they were forced to pick a player that they did not want to take, to be honest with you.
So, again, like when you just add up the factor of like Flacco veteran status, you just used the 3rd round pick for Kenny Pickett, you just drafted Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round.
Well, you're only taking 3 quarterbacks. You're going to take 2 quarterbacks that you're going to play or dress on game day, and you're going to have 1 quarterback that's going to be on practice squad. That's usually how it goes. You usually end up with 3 quarterbacks. Who are the 3? Kenny Pickett to me. Kenny Pickett, Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. Old man Joe was out, Zach.
You may be right. I hope they're not trying to win their first game, though. Because you're trying to win your first game of the
Browns.
season. Yeah, well, that's true.
It's the Browns.
That's true. But they have a pretty good coach.
What's your infatuation with Joe?
He's the best guy that they have. I don't have an infatuation. I don't have an infatuation with Joe Flacco.
Joe's getting old.
Of course.
He's not the Joe of 2 years when he was with the Browns 2 years ago.
So if you had a game to win and your life's on the line, Kenny Pickett starting?
Kenny Pickett
over
over Joe.
What a plan.
Hey,
your life's on the line. You're going to go Kenny Pickett?
I've been in the building with Joe. I know how he is. Joe doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about throwing an interception.
Does Shedeur care about you?
I never said Shedeur. I said Kenny Pickett would be the starter.
Kenny Pickett cares about you?
Kenny Pickett, he's a younger guy that wants to make sure that he starts, right?
So
he's gonna do everything. He's gonna do everything in his power.
What I'm saying is, why would it be about what quarterback cares about you?
Because Kenny Pickett is gonna make sure that he succeeds and I succeed because it makes him look good. Joe doesn't care. Joe doesn't give a damn.
All right,
Cup of Joe.